All right, I'm here with Art Cruz of Lamb of God. Art, what's up, dude? How you doing, man?
Doing wonderful, man. Thanks for having me. I'm really stoked to be here.
Absolutely. I've been wanting to catch up with you for a minute, man. I really, I've been following Lamb of God for a long time. I really kind of liked, from my perspective, sort of maybe a little bit more of the heavy groove that I feel like you kind of bring to the band. So I certainly dig that. And then coupled with the back catalog and having to learn a bunch of Chris Adler drum parts too, fucking tough enough. So
Yeah,
I admire the ability to do both of those things. And we'll definitely get into that.
thanks.
But first, congrats on the new record Into Oblivion. I've been checking it out. Heavy as hell. You got Josh Wilbur again on the production, man.
Yeah.
These records sound gigantic.
It's one of those things, man. I mean, I can't believe it's my third one. We were just talking about that. I think it's been such a treat to kind of like really see the dynamics change and the process from my first one to my third one now. So,
Yeah.
I mean, as a whole, obviously as a band, but genuinely, I think Josh is like he's like the third arm that I don't have, the other foot and the other brain. And he's just, man, I can't, I really, I always give my props to him first and foremost because I really feel like he truly brings out the best in me. Like, hey, he really does, man. I'm really happy that all my records have been with him. So no
Yeah.
complaints there, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, starting with 2020's Lamb of God, you mentioned how the kind of process has changed. That's something I always like to talk to people about. Like we said, third record in, sort of how has it changed sort of for you and or the way the band writes, records, or any of that for that matter?
I think, when I first came in, obviously you're kind of like having to process a lot. Uh, and it all happened really fast, man. Like, I mean, from the moment we finished that, like, I think it was a European Slayer run, we got home and it just kind of all happened really fast. And we jumped right into like the process of writing, what is now the self-titled record. And it's been a treat, like I said earlier, to really expand and grow as a unit. This I would like, I guess this version of Lamb of God, as the fans would suggest.
Uh-huh.
But it's been really interesting to kind of like learn more about how they write and trying to like really cohesively come together with them and not cause any friction. And that's a challenge, man, that they don't really teach you coming up. It's
Correct.
thankfully they're like they've always been my brothers, but even more so in the workspace, they really uh, guided me and were very patient, and it was new for everybody. So it's been a drastic jump now that I listen back to not only the parts from the first record in comparing to Into Oblivion, but just remembering the process and how this one came to be. And it was really a 180 from what I was used to from the start to the second album to where we're at now. So it's been really I don't want to say this one was easier, but it was really one of those things where I think we each uh we all gained that like trust. I feel like creatively and early on I wasn't prepared for that, and I was just kind of terrified. So
Yeah.
uh I think we just did what we do best on this one in particular. It's that's the best answer I can give you is everybody showed up and did what they were supposed to do individually, and it became, in my opinion, like a greatest hits collection of songs, but they're all
Uh-huh.
original. So it's really cool.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
this phase, like come for this record in particular, I know Mark has his studio. I imagine, to some degree, everybody's got some sort of a little studio set up. Is there a lot of file sharing and demoing and then pre-production and then getting in and then tweaking it even further with Josh once you get to the studio? Like, has that been kind of the multi-step process or?
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, that it's I'm really grateful for each of the album's experiences and the methods that we used, I guess if you want to say. Like they were all very different. So I mean, I can talk to you for days about how we did all three of them, but the most obvious thing I think that was different about this go around, and why I said it kind of like everybody just showed up and did what they were supposed to, is because we normally, at least my first two experiences with the band, it was there was pre-production, there were writing sessions, there was a lot of files going back and forth, and it wasn't like that this time around. It was to learn the music as you would. We have to learn the music, but
Mm.
most of the songs that Mark and Willie were writing, because those are obviously the main songwriters when it comes to structure and
Hmm.
riffs and things like that. It's pretty much this time around, it was very much just like what it was supposed to be. There was no room for changes because it didn't need it. We were just, everybody was very much at, this is it. This is the way the song is. Everybody show up, learn it, let's do it. We didn't even get together. I think we got together once and attempted to get together on the material,
Wow.
but it became more of a discussion and kind of like a way to feel tempos because the structures weren't going to change. And in Omens in particular, that was a very start to finish process.
Hmm.
So for somebody that's always constantly learning and trying to bounce ideas off of these guys and learn from them, uh, this was one of those ones that did not require any of that. And like I said, at first it was really unusual because I was ready and prepared, like, okay, let's get together, let's jam. It didn't happen. And at first it was kind of discouraging, but then once I got into the studio and I realized I think everybody's just has a lot of trust in everybody in each other and
Hmm.
they know we're all going to show up. We're at that point, I think. And it was just so much funner that way. Nobody was like fighting each other about a feel or a riff or this. It was just like, hey, this is a song. Let's play it. And
Yeah.
so uh I'm really happy with the outcome. Uh Omens and the self-title were really fun to write and record, but this one was me and Josh, man, we always get in there and it's just like I just have this branded vision of him. I was just only looking at him through the control room window. It's
Yeah.
just a thing. And um I love it, man. I'm really happy with the way it turned out.
Yeah. Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you, I know, so if Josh helped you, I guess, was the engineer or producer like on the drum session was at a different studio from where the other tracking took place, correct?
Yeah, we did it in Richmond at the bakery, I believe it's called.
Hmm.
God, I hope I'm not getting
I
that
think
wrong.
you're right.
Yeah, my mind's spacey, but really cool studio, small, like great staff, really small team, and honestly, like it was our my first time recording in Richmond. So as a fan and as uh, a promoter of always trying to find gratitude in what the heck that we're doing and what I'm doing, man. Like, what a dream. It really had to kind of like remind me to come back to a place of like, wow, this is really cool. Like, I'm in Richmond. Finally, this was what it was supposed to be. And most of the guitars were done at Mark's, if not all of them, were done at Mark's house in his
Nice.
home studio.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, what a really cool thing. Like we were together, but we weren't together. And man, I mean, great studio, great sounds. Really happy again with the drum parts on the nerdy stuff. Like I feel like I was just a lot more loose on this
Yeah.
record, and it just I hear it compared to the first two recordings. I feel like I'm not so tense and a lot shows and I'm sure you can as a drummer you can understand that when you have this like flow it's it flows. I
Right.
mean it's a flow, so this one definitely flows. It really sits.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can imagine, and something that I've talked to many drummers over the years when they join a band, and there's a pretty substantial back catalog to where you're
Mhm.
also sort of acknowledging what came before you, whether you're trying to channel that ultimately or not. Subconsciously, it's going to find some of its way into your playing. So I think
Absolutely.
where you're at now is probably like, I mean, you would say trust. I think y'all just have a better feel for each other,
Hmm.
and ultimately, I suppose trust. But in that, I think could ultimately affect the feel. And if you felt just loose on it without all that tension and everything, that hopefully can then be felt within the playing. So you're not
Yeah.
so on top of everything, but
Mhm.
you allow a little breath in those breathier spots, in the space. Yeah,
Yeah.
something to be
And
said for it.
that's something that's now that you mentioned that and being able to feed off each other, you can't really do that when you're not together, right? So that's
Right.
it's a very strange language that I'm trying to explain. Like I'm sure the average listener won't understand what the hell I'm talking about, but it's
Right.
like when we did Omens, we were in the same room.
Yeah.
There's a thing there,
Uh-huh.
and it's that's a specific type of feel, but it's also you can still get the same thing when you're not together.
Yes.
Uh, and that shows a lot with the riffs that are being
Hmm.
written and I record last, so like
Did you?
I record last. It's I love doing that. I
Really?
if I can, I mean, if for any drummer that's watching this now, man, if I'm always trying to tell people, and if there's anything I learned over the years is to really play for the song. Like
Hmm.
most drummers where the drum community is wonderful, but sometimes it's like, holy shit, like how many things can I fit into this one space to chop it up and do the fast thing? And that's there's a time and a place for that. But for this particular record, I feel like less was more for me,
Uh-huh.
but there's more parts. It's
Right.
really weird. I laid back and I didn't try to, I just let it happen. And thankfully, a lot of the songs and a lot of the structures of what Mark and Willie brought, there was a lot of space. They left me a lot of space to kind of show up and get down enough. But like I said, it's less was more. I played for the song, um, and I just played as a fan. Like what would a drum fan like when I go listen to the Black album?
Hmm.
As laid back as that is, how many times can you air drum like parts and just like it's for the song, you know? And I'm playing for the fan, and but there's always a place for the drummer, right? I'm always trying to sneak that in there a bit, but
Yeah.
these particular parts were much simpler, uh, but I was just flowing, mechanical
Yeah.
flow, man. I was just flowing.
Yeah. That's cool. That's funny you mentioned the Black Album. I've gone on a little bit of a tear recently where I listened to the second half of it when it originally came out in '91. I had the cassette tape, and there's all that songs on side one in my brain, and then on the other side, I think it starts around like Of Wolf and Men, and then you've got like The God That Failed, and some of those songs on side two fucking kill. Wow.
It's a thing. I mean, and you know what's crazy? That's what's cool about Into Oblivion. Not that we didn't pay as much attention in the other two albums that I did, but the track listing on this particular album,
Hmm.
it really has a flow.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the flow album, man. Like I'm just telling you, it's a great track listing. It's got all of the dynamics that I think you need. It really is to me a greatest hits album, but with
Yeah.
original music.
That's
I
cool.
hear everything. Because I don't lose that fan perspective. I'm a fan first, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I feel like I have the upper hand on maybe the advantage to like kind of put that in their ear sometimes to like,
Hmm.
hey, like what about this? Like y'all used to do this. Like remember when you did this on Sacrament and like this on Wrath and like it's we're always inspired by ourselves and myself included. I have my little nuances now as a player that developed in Lamb of God and they shined a lot more. I'd like to believe in this record.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, man. You mentioned sort of your original foray, I guess, into the band. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did you sit
Mm.
in for Chris Adler at some point, and then ultimately that became then at some point? I mean, I'm obviously simplifying it, but
No, yeah. My old band Winds of Plague was on tour with Lamb of God on the Mayhem Fest in 2010,
okay,
and uh, that was it was kind of like I did like a practice run. I almost filled in. So I
okay,
almost filled in. So it was one of those things where like, hey, come up and like play a couple songs to kind of get the feel, just in case if this is a real thing. And I ended up playing like Laid to Rest a couple times at different shows, and that was fucking nuts too. I mean, that was crazy. But lo and behold, I mean, I would like to think that a lot of that. particular moment had a lot to do with being the phone call to fill in for the Slayer tour, and then what became me entering the band. So uh, you don't know what moment is going to be that moment, later down the line. But I always go back to that particular time, and I always feel like that was a potential a tryout, maybe,
Right.
since we were friends first. I've been friends with the band for many years, and that was just one of those moments. Like, actually, we got to rip with him on stage in front of a
Yeah.
big crowd. Clearly, he can do it. Cool. So you just never know what moment will be the moment, and
Damn.
I would like to believe that that was one of those moments. So
I love it that y'all
crazy.
got to go out with Slayer. I just finished Gary Holt of Exodus's book, which is awesome, and the tail end of it is a lot about his time in Slayer and all
Mhm.
kinds of crazy stories that he has. When y'all were out with them, was Gary playing with them, or
Yeah,
was Jeff's?
yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, and I've known Gary for a hot minute too, and it's it's such a unique position to be in. Like, there's so many of us, and by us I mean like there's so many guys that are not original members of bands, and it's important. It's a challenge. It is a very scary place to be in, especially for like legacy acts like Lamb of God and Slayer and Exodus, and I can name a whole fuck ton of bands that have non-original members that become a part of that name. And Gary Holt's a perfect example. Paul Bostaff is a perfect example.
Right.
If we're talking drummers, I mean, the list goes on. Robert Trujillo, there's all kinds of people that have a part of history of these bands, So I'm just happy to be in this position. And 3 records, I mean, shit, dude. I can't believe it's 3 albums already. Like, I
Yeah.
really can't. That's like 25% of the catalog. And I'm like, weird. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a wild ride, dude. And I mean, I can't wait to play these new songs, dude. Like, it's just, there's nothing more fulfilling than, like, obviously I love playing the hits, and I grew up playing them, so I'm attached to them differently than most would think. Um, but there's just something about playing the ones that I wrote and the ones that I recorded. It's really special, dude. It's really
Definitely,
special.
definitely.
Yeah.
In adjusting to some of these longer Lamb of God shows, or just initially when you first started playing them live, for that matter, was there anything that you found changed in your playing to get through those sets? Be it ergonomic adjustments,
Mhm.
pre-show hydration, warm-ups, anything like that?
Man, I am in the middle of it, bro, right now. So, I mean, I'm happy to talk about it too. You're the first to hear it, but like, I fell. It's like, talk about accountability, right? You get comfortable with, you do these songs for so long, you get comfortable with them, and you start to get, I like to think the ego is telling you, like, oh, it's fine, you got this shit, no problem. Like, it's not a memory thing.
Right.
Clearly, I remember the songs, but execution of said songs, you tend to fall off a little bit. And if you're not staying sharp, you're gonna fall off.
Yeah.
And so I've actually, we got about, today's the ninth. I think about 3.5 weeks until our rehearsals begin for the next tour.
Hmm.
And I started 2 weeks ago. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give myself 6 weeks and dial, because I haven't done it like this in a while, because you get comfortable. It's like, all right, I'll wait till like the week before, I'll start getting loose, and
Right.
I'm getting older.
Yeah.
I'm getting older, and I've changed a lot from when I first entered the band to where I'm at now. The kit setup has changed dramatically.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, I did a video with Gibraltar talking about how we rebuilt this new rack that I'm using now, and my buddy Brandon, who run Brandon Green, who runs Drum Mechanics. It's like an Instagram uh page. He's been really helping me on my everything, like, for this time around, ergonomically, workout wise,
Wow.
drum exercises. I've never taken my playing so seriously.
Wow.
And the last time I did this, was when I got ready to join and play with Lamb of God.
Mm.
To learn the songs on the Slayer set. That was
Hmm.
the last time I did what I'm doing now. That was 8 years ago almost. So it's kind of crazy to go back to that. And it's just showing that I'm trying to take some accountability for I can't do this. I gotta stay doing this. And the
Uh-huh.
only way to do that is change everything. I mean, I changed everything, man. I mean, I stopped drinking 3 years ago. I I eat extremely well. As Brandon would say, 80/20 on the kit. I do that with my life. Like I'm 80% very, very much dialed on what I'm eating, what I'm drinking, and what I'm doing. And then the other 20%, I'm like, all right, let me live a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's really a balance that I'm learning constantly every day. But man, I am preparing the shit out of these songs. And if there's anything I can say to round up that question is uh it's a lot harder now than it was 8 years ago.
Yeah,
That's
right.
for sure, man. The music, everything is so I want to give myself my best chance at staying fresh and staying at top of my game. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. I've found at different points in the past, if I felt as though I could play the songs independently and felt pretty comfortable with them, the second that I actually made a string out of those songs and had to play them back to back and get a feel for the transitions and actually
Hmm.
sustaining myself through it, that seemed to be a different thing. And that's
Yeah.
that's something that really, really perhaps views that kind of what you've been doing. It's like I'm playing the set at this point.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy, man, is I was my priorities were all fucked up. And like it's a constant learning process for me. But I was in the gym, I was eating good, I was feeling good, but I was in shape. It's actually something I just said. I was in shape, but I was not in drum shape.
Different thing.
Holy shit.
It's a different thing.
But obviously I'm a week and a half in of just, I'm playing 6 times, 6 days a week,
Hmm.
very smartly, I guess. There's a day where I'm doing exercises, drum exercises, just focusing on my hips and my shins. I
Right.
hate, I hate that day.
Yeah, that
Um,
sucks.
hate that day. But lo and behold, later on in the week, when I go back and I'm just playing the set, it makes a huge difference based on just, I don't realize I'm using those muscles
Good. Okay. Yeah.
ever, man. So Brandon has been a dream to kind of get me going into that direction. Um, yeah, I'm just working all the shit out now, and call it lazy, call it uh, unmanageably taking not taking it seriously. But man, I'm actually looking forward to this, and I really want this. I'm really inspired right now, and it's fucking go time, man. I gotta show up, I gotta
Yeah.
show up. As Mark Morton always says, this is the fucking NFL. That's what's up. So I'm treating it like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you revert back to the early days of you playing? I know you have some like marching background as well. We could definitely talk a little bit about that.
Hmm.
But what came first for you? Was it marching band and a single snare drum, and then ultimately the kit? And if so, what about what year are we talking about?
Man, it was 2005, which is crazy. It feels like it wasn't that long ago, but it was. I was a junior in high school, and man, I didn't have a drum kit. I was borrowing people's drum sets, just trying to play drums. But marching band came by accident. My, the band director, Frank Enohos, he was at my high school, South Almani High School. That dude, I think he changed my life, like completely. Like he gave me a chance when I didn't even want a chance.
Yeah.
He saw something in me, man, and he really was like, "Hey, like come here for a second. Let me show you this. You might like this." I was fucking off in his piano class. Like I was just like messing around. I'd change the programming on the piano and make it drum sounds.
Hmm.
Class clown shit, not paying
Right.
attention. And he's like, "Why don't you come after school and play with the real drum line?" I was like, "That sounds lame." All right. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I showed up and I saw unity. I heard thunder. I heard five bass drums hitting at the same time,
Hmm.
cadences, snare drums. I was attached to the tenors. Like
Okay.
there was just it had this thing that it made me feel a certain way.
That's funny.
And
Okay.
so honestly, man, I jumped into it really fresh. I did one band camp over the summer. Yeah, I went to band camp and
Yeah.
went over the summer, and he pretty much was like, "Hey, I think you should play the tenors." I just had it. I don't know, call it a gift or call it luck,
Yeah.
whatever. But I just had a natural. I naturally just had it on the tenors, and I usually you got to work your way up to
Hmm.
get to the tenors in marching band. So I did that for 2 years, and I started my first band my senior year, uh, with members of the band, metalheads and shit like
Right.
that.
Right.
One of which was a trumpet player. Like,
Yeah.
so music, the band changed everything. Marching band changed everything. Discipline, excitement, camaraderie, how to play with others, and just like some of the best memories of my life. Playing, going to football games, and like having the drum solo bit and everybody looking at me is just it was a whole piece of my life that set me up, I think, for these moments that I'm doing now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I grew up in Southeast Louisiana, and because Mardi Gras is a big thing, and parade culture is a big thing down there. Marching bands is always a big thing. You got a whole season built around it,
Yeah.
in addition to football games and whatever else. And I just had an interesting teacher as well. I kind of got in, and he just let me do whatever I wanted to. He would maybe judge me the harshest on whether or not I had my rudiments down come time for like the final exam. But he
Damn.
was, I was like, I don't really want to do these football games. He's like, you don't have to. And I was like, I honestly don't know that I'll really want to march either. And he was like, you should do it for at least one season. And I did it. And I was also like, I kind of don't like being in parades and the like harnesses digging
Yeah.
into your back and just like the weather and everything else. I was like, this is kind of brutal. And then at the same time, I was starting to play drum set, or had been at least for a year or so. And then
Mhm.
I was like pretty sold. It was for me, it was so much more fun to go and actually try to attempt to make music, as derivatives as it might have been for that point in time. But
Mhm.
just that outlet was so much more awesome and so much cooler than doing the band thing. So I kind of was in marching band, but
Mhm.
I rarely marched, which is kind of ridiculous.
It's kind of funny. And you know what? I mean, again, like I catch myself doing the marching shit and doing the skip to get back on fucking beat. And I learned a lot doing that. And we were mainly strictly a marching parade band. Like we did,
Uh-huh.
we did competitions like with schools and
Yeah.
your lines, how straight were your lines and all that stuff. And we
Right.
won a couple. And to kind of be a part of that, it did something for me. But what's funny that you probably don't even realize, I can't read music for shit.
My sight reading sucks.
Oh, I don't even know how to read music, period. So what I'm saying is this guy really took a chance on me.
Yeah.
Um, I was the only one that was allowed to listen and learn by ear.
Hmm.
So it was a lot more work, and I had to have somebody show me particular things and whatever the cadences were.
Uh-huh.
But then I kind of I kind of cheat coded my way through based on like, well, why don't I just write the cadences and then it won't matter. I won't need to learn. I'll just write better ones. So
Right.
I would write better ones, and I was like, well, now I'm teaching people and I don't need to read music. So it's like, okay, cool. So to this day, man, I still don't know. I don't know how to read music, and
Yeah.
I like to share that even at my clinics. Like when I go do clinics, uh, I like to give that look into my life because some people I feel like there's a I feel like if you're not part of the club, you get discouraged and you're like, oh, I can't read music, so I'm not gonna be able to play or whatever. And I guess I go against the grain with that, and my teaching is much more street knowledge rather than like book knowledge.
Hmm.
Uh, but I like to give those people hope too, because not everybody can go to Berkeley and study music and know all the rudiments. And am I saying don't learn them? Geez, no way. Like I'm always trying to up my knowledge on that stuff because it will translate and help my playing. I'm
Right.
sure you can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And but there's also some times where I'm like, oh, this sounds really cool, and I have no idea what I'm playing.
Hmm.
Like there's a song called September Song on the Omens album. It's the last song on the Omens album.
Hmm.
It's got this Garibaldi funky Tower of Power
Nice.
sticking thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No idea what I'm doing. I have no idea. It sounds like I'm playing like some odd time thing.
Hmm.
It's just I play with feel, and I feel like it sounds right. And if I listen back and there's a backbeat there, usually it's right. So I kind of just try to finesse everything as much as I can. And when I go do clinics, I'm always asking people like, "Hey, can somebody actually help me like tell me what the fuck I'm doing?" Because
Yeah.
it'd be cool to try to like, oh, this makes sense. I can read this, but
Hmm.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, yeah. I'd studied with guys in college as well. Some awesome series of drummers for a few years there, taking drum lessons. And one of the guys that was pretty adamant as well. I mean, everything that we did was sight reading. I'd take it home and be like, God, I just don't even know what this is. And my whole day, I'd be like, Hey, man, play this section. And then I at least had it in my ear. I'm like, that's what that is. Okay,
Mm,
some weird dotted triplet. Once it gets so weird to me. And again, I think it depends how you start off playing. Not to say, to your point, that you can't
mhm.
change it or learn something down the line, but I think if you start by just sort of channeling emotion and it's not so much your head involved in it, to then sort of reverse engineer that and be like, I'm going to interpret all this visual information and then
Yeah.
have it come through I'm like, dude, the circuitry's fucked for me for that. I don't know.
I suppose there's a time and a place for this kind of shit, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I I always come across videos of guys like that just get a gig and they're like on a cruise ship or this and that, and they're just like, all
Right.
right, like they got
Reading the entire thing. Yeah.
that. Yo,
Props.
respect. I'm gonna stay in my lane over here though. Like, I
Totally.
ain't, I'm cruising over here, man. It's funny.